So with Darksiders 2 coming out so soon and a whole different character, we kind of wanted to go over Darksiders 1 and what we felt could improve for 2. And both of us haven't really looked into 2 all that much, but we want to give our idea of what can actually improve from the first. And right away, in the first one, you are introduced to War, who is the main character, who is this big hulking badass who somehow starts the apocalypse a bit too early and kind of fucks up Earth. And with that, the story is very comic book feel. You are kind of the good guy, but you're not really a good guy because you're a horseman, and you have to stop this war from going on with the angels and the demons. And it's nothing special, but with solid voice acting from, what's his name, the guy who does Joker? Mark Hamill.
Oh, Mark Hamill, yeah.
War, who's voiced by somebody famous, I know that, I just don't know his name. And, a pretty good cast. You get a decent story. Again, it feels very comic book, and it's not its main focus. And honestly, it's kind of like you kind of see who's going to win, and you kind of take down the big bad at the end and all that. But it's still entertaining. It's still fun. It's all-out war, and we fucking get killed, and that's always interesting to watch. So with the first one, what I really want to see improved in 2 is kind of give a more character development for the main character. War kind of is always the same big badass guy who's gonna fuck shit up. And Death, he obviously looks like he's gonna fuck shit up. He's not this big hulking mess. Dude, he kind of seems more menacing and more evilish, kind of. Or maybe that's just how he looks. But he sounds like he wants to, from what I hear, bring back all the dead people that War killed, all the people that weren't supposed to die yet. And that already sounds more interesting, and I'm hoping to see more character development in him. I want to care about Death, or at least get to know him, maybe hate him. Either way, I want to know more about Death, and War kind of, you just know that he's a hulking badass who's going to fuck shit up.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I remember in the first Darksiders War, he was a cool character, and he's like a bulking mass, fighter. He brings war. He just kicks ass, and he had that dark voice, but you couldn't really relate to him at all in a way, which I guess is normal, but he could have used more character development, like you're saying. What I do like about Death and what they've showed is, like you said, he's not as big. He looks like he's got more character to him. And I'd really like to see them take that, go with that, and as the story develops for part 2. But also, I kind of catch like he almost seems like he's a little bit more. I don't know if I want to say that like smart, sophisticated.
Yeah.
He just seems a little more. His conversations and the little clips I've seen, he just seems more of a conversationalist with these bad guys. Yet still,
yeah, he's still a horseman. He's gonna fuck shit up, but he just seems like he has some type of dialogue over just, I'm going to kill you. So, hopefully
They wouldn't like me.
They would like me. That's basically War's whole dialogue. Or
yes.
I'm going to stop them. Or some shit like that. Well, Death seems he actually has dialogue.
Yeah, but if they can actually add more to his character, and actually, as for the other characters in the original one, I thought those had pretty good characters, especially Mark Hamill's character. Yeah. Of course, he makes everything badass himself. If they can keep that up, and supposedly this game is bigger, I can see the story in this one being much better and more in depth, which would just improve the series drastically.
Agreed. So, the first one, I think we both agree, is a decent story. It definitely kind of can improve in every way.
So now the graphics in Darksiders 1 were actually really colorful, really vibrant. You think Apocalypse, you think gritty, evil, dark, but Darksiders had this kind of cartoon look. Some people say it looked kind of like WoW, mixed with Zelda. I mean, it just has this really colorful look, something you wouldn't expect from an apocalyptic game. Now, to improve it, I mean, I thought the graphics were really good and the style was really great. So, not so much on the actual style of the game do I think there needs improvement, but I'd like to see maybe, dare I say it, bigger environments, bigger levels, and maybe more just more characters to see to fill up this level. I do remember the overworld in the game feeling kind of barren in the original, but if they could just add to all this, the style they've got is great, and the comic book cartoon look, it looks badass. It's a good combo, but maybe just expand it, make it bigger, and refine it a bit.
I totally agree. I don't have much to add. The only thing I would hope, like you said, is bigger environment, and just a lot of kind of like weird environments. Like the first one was a lot on Earth, and it was cool, but that's Earth, and it just looks slightly altered because we're fucked. With Death, it seems like he's going to be in Hell a lot and gathering spirits, and already the environments look more chaotic, and that's good for a comic book look, so I'm really excited to see where that goes. But as far as the artistic style, I love the big Spawn-looking monsters and all these big bulky dudes. I can't wait to see more of that, just kind of bigger and better environment. So right away, I think I personally enjoyed the combat of Darksiders. I thought it was very brutal yet quick. Kind of reminded me of Devil May Cry and a mix of God of War into this unique feel. And really, one of the only things I would like to see improved, since I love the gameplay so much, is adding more weapons, more of like an RPG feel where you gather different weapons and you can pull off more of these unique moves, or just every weapon having not its own move list. That would take too long, but just having little variations that make it like, oh wow, I can do it with this weapon, then switch right into another weapon and do some badass move. So stuff like that is what I really want to see, and just the RPG element or the loot element will definitely add to, oh, I want to replay, or I want to fight that special boss, or I want to kill these enemies instead of, fuck, I gotta kill these enemies to get to the next room. So that's something I definitely like to see improved, and I have a feeling that's definitely going to be put into Darksiders 2.
Yeah, I mean, when you're taking a game that kind of mocks Zelda and God of War, I mean, these kind of games, I mean, that's not something bad to take after. So obviously combat's a big thing. I would love to actually see some more puzzles in the game. Granted, there was a good amount of puzzles in Darksiders, but if this game is going to go bigger and better, I want to see some more elaborate puzzles, though maybe not quite as elaborate as the Portal-like puzzles at the end of the first one. Because those, while good, that last tower was huge in a bad way, I think. But it was still good. Yeah, but it was still good. But when the game was only broken down into about 4 or 5 different areas, that was a huge area to go through. But other than that, I'd really like to see, like, one of the biggest things I don't like about some Zelda games, or even some games like Zelda, is that you'll get these new items and you barely use them. Like, you use them in a dungeon and then you forget about them. I like when they incorporate these items and into more puzzles or throughout the game. I'd also like to see more, I won't say vehicles, like I want to see some, like the horse, but I'd like to see the horse maybe used a little bit more, because I didn't feel like he really needed to be used that much in the original game, the horse that War had. So those are some of the big areas I'd like to see improvements gameplay-wise. Agreed.
Like you said, puzzles definitely, I felt the first one had good ones, but adding more is definitely always an improvement, and nothing like that fucking one Portal. Like, I like most of the Portal ones, but there's that one with the mirror. Oh my god. Yeah. Whoever designed that is just a sadistic piece of shit.
They knew what they were doing.
Those motherfuckers probably didn't even know how to solve it themselves. They just put that in the game to fuck with you. But in terms of that, I do want to see more puzzles, like I said. I don't need a ton more, but just a few more in the beginning, because I felt like they added all of them at the end. And the only other real improvement, as much as I like the boss battles and I like seeing War just kill him, I'm a fan of QuickTime events. A small little QuickTime event at the end to show killing instead of just watching a cinema, I can always like, or I'll like more. But I know some people don't like QuickTime events, but it would just, to me, be a better finisher than watching War or Death.
Add just that little bit of extra oomph into it.
Yeah, watch you rip open that motherfucker's head.
Now, one other aspect of gameplay that you kind of mentioned was, I understand that in games they like to do this, you have to beat so many enemies to get past the door. I know that's kind of a way to keep you playing. I hope they can find a better way of doing that, but if it stays that way, I won't mind it. But what I didn't really like, and I remember I was first kind of thrown off when I first started playing Darksiders, was I felt at the beginning was a little slow, like you had to do that arena stuff, and it just felt like, is this going to be the whole game? Like, going in an arena, doing this move, ending it, because I don't know if you remember, there was a part where you had to do these trials, and that was early on, and I was really worried for the game. Now, I'm not saying it was bad, because obviously they didn't even go back to that again. And maybe that was just something they threw in to be just, because the gameplay is very mixed and whatnot throughout the entire game. But that got me a little worried, and I hope that they can start the game off a little faster pace, because that part kind of slowed it down. And then one other aspect is I really liked how they mixed like little mini games, like the whole flying,
yes.
shooting pet segments. And I'd like to see more mini games like that.
Agreed. More set pieces that kind of take you out of just a regular gameplay, but give you that memorable, wow, I did that in the game, and that was really cool.
Yeah. Like, I still remember when you get the gun and you're shooting all the angels down. That was pretty
cool. It was
cool.
badass, and like, you see the angels and demons fighting in the background. It was just very, very cool. So, just more of those scenes, and I'm sure they'll do that, but just having that in the game is definitely an improvement. But I think that's really all my improvements that I want. A lot of it sounds like minor things, and they kind of are, because I really enjoyed the first one. One of my favorite action games of this generation. So just these small improvements, and I can see myself thinking, Darksiders 2 is absolutely one of the best action games, not this generation, but just in general. And I hope that's what happens, because I always like to be surprised.
Yeah, it was a great game, and actually that was their first major game, so for that they get major props. They did a really good job. A lot of people are actually kind of confused, and once people found out it was kind of more like a Zelda game, I noticed some people were immediately like, wow, I gotta try this, and a lot of people liked it. Obviously we're getting a sequel. So I mean, I just want to see all these I hope all these things get improved. I like that you want more RPG aspects in it. I hope there's more set pieces, more mini games, but I really got a good feeling that Darksiders 2 is going to be a huge improvement over the first in many ways, and I think it could be one of the best games this year.
Oh yes. So do it, Virgil. Right? That's Virgil.
Yeah, Virgil. Do it, Virgil. Make death badass.
Come on, you motherfuckers.